Okay, folks, it's your dude here once again from What You Think, coming to find out what you think. And I've got a story here today for you from the Mirror, U.S. Fair Use, published by Paul Donald. Pentagon's Roswell UFO report is bogus, says ex-NASA experts as famous case back in the spotlight. Despite claims from the U.S. Army Air Force they had solved the globally famous Roswell incident, a group of former NASA experts have said this is untrue. Last month, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the Pentagon's departing UFO chief, said his office's own conclusion was that the Air Force's report in 1994 was correct. Roswell's flying saucer crash was debris from a top-secret Project Mogul spy balloon. However, independent experts, including former NASA scientists, say that official documents created by the very scientists who ran Project Mogul themselves flatly contradicted the government's claims. The Roswell incident in 1947 caught the imaginations of people around the world when the Air Force said it had recovered debris from a flying disc. But less than 24 hours later, military officials backtracked, saying the debris had come from a crashed weather balloon. The balloon project ran from 1947 until early 1949 and was an effort to develop long-range tracking of sound waves from Soviet nuclear weapons tests. But the scientists struggled to develop a system of high-altitude balloons and sensors which could remain level within the right sound channel, about 50,000 feet above sea level, with poor weather and aviation safety issues hampering them. Now, one longtime NASA aerospace engineer who conducted atmospheric balloon experiments, not unlike Mogul, told DailyMail.com that the Mogul balloon launch in question was never carried out. The engineer pointed to journal entry written by Project Mogul's Field Operations Director, Dr. Albert Query, on June 4, 1947, which states, "No balloon flights again on account of clouds. Flew regular sonobuoy up in cluster of balloons." The NASA engineer who wished to remain anonymous said if he was just flying a rubber balloon cluster with a sonobuoy, a thin 3-foot-long sonar device, it would go up and come down relatively quickly and never go too far. In my opinion, that's what Query meant when he wrote no balloon flights on account of clouds. He meant no balloon flights that would take the train outside of military airspace. Dr. Query's journal, corroborated by Mogul's office progress reports, indicates there was no high-altitude balloon flights that fit both the Air Force investigation timings and was also capable of traveling the roughly 87 miles north to the Roswell UFO crash site. Dr. David Rudike, a team member of the University of Texas at Arlington's Roswell UFO Incident Archival Project, said he agrees. Dr. Rudike examined the Mogul balloon theory of the Roswell crash in partnership with Roswell skeptic and ex-NASA Ames researcher Brad Sparks in the early 2000s. They focused on the required flight path of the canceled balloon flight on June 4th, which had been canceled by the Air Force's Star Witness from Mogul. And what they found was shocking, with numerous grade school-type math errors found. In one instance, 100 feet dash 12 minutes equals 300 feet per minute, which allowed the alleged Mogul flight to start and stop at just the right altitude to ride the wind toward the Roswell crash site. However, in an interview with CNN analyst Peter Bergen this January, Dr. Kirkpatrick said his Pentagon UFO office backed the Air Force's official Project Mogul balloon theory. Bergen said on his podcast that Kirkpatrick says his office dug deep into Roswell. Kirkpatrick and his team at AARO concluded that crashed Mogul balloons recovery operations to retrieve downed Air Force dummies and glimpses of the aftermath of the real plane crash, likely combined into a single narrative. Dr. Kirkpatrick's opinion is very different to the testimony of Roswell Army Airfield Intelligence veteran Major Jesse Marcel, who came forward in the late 1970s to say that the crash debris he witnessed in 1947 was not of this earth. But while the Air Force concluded that Project Mogul was the most likely explanation, records written in 1947 and 1948 by Mogul's scientists showed the alleged balloon flight had been grounded because of serious safety concerns. Debris from the Roswell crash was found 80 miles northwest of town by rancher Mac Brazel and his son Vernon on June 14, 1947. For the Brazos discovery to have been a mogul balloon, according to the Air Force's 1994 report, only one scheduled launch in the secret project's official history could have adhered to the timeline, the one on June 4th. But in Dr. Crairy's journal entry on the canceled launch says no balloon flights, again on account of clouds, transcribed for inclusion in the Air Force's 1994 Roswell report, was also corroborated by Project Mogul's official 1948 progress report. The Air Force's 1994 Roswell report concluded the balloon flight might have taken off based on testimony from one of Dr. Crairy's junior partners on the secret project, the trainee atmospheric scientist called Charles Moore, while the lead author of the Air Force's Roswell report, Colonel Richard Weaver, believed Moore. The now retired Colonel has now emphasized that Moore's near 50-year memory was not conclusive. And physics professor Dr. Kevin Kunt, who spent 4 years at NASA Ames studying distant, gaseous, nebulous outer space, says he finds the Air Force findings less conclusive. He said, as a scientist, I am skeptical of every claim that is made without evidence. I must be equally skeptical of a witness who claims that there was a crashed disk with alien bodies at Roswell, as I am of a witness that claims that Roswell was a result of the crash of a Project Mogul balloon. This is especially true because the first story that was officially released was RAF, Roswell Army Airfield, captures a flying saucer. Well, folks, that's all for this one. But you gotta let me know what you think. What do you think about the Project Mogul balloon theory? Was it really a UFO cover-up? I mean, why did they change their story so quick, in less than 24 hours? But you gotta let me know what you think, folks. Chop it up in the comment section. And as always,